All right, it's November 19th and we've had a few days of cold. This is the orchard at the moment. This is not from the recent cold. This is from about a week and a half ago when we had our first freeze, and it just froze, flash froze for like an hour or two before the sun came back out and basically burned all the leaves. You can see down at the bottom, the leaves are still all right, but taking damage from the cold from tonight. Today it's freezing. It was freezing right now, but the figs don't seem to mind it too much. Still lots of figs left on the tree, so none of those are going to make it, but hopefully they do fine over the winter, and we have quite a few that make it. I only took a very few cuttings this year. I just wanted to leave them alone and see how they do. And so we'll see how that looks. So that's the fig orchard. Over here I've got where I started the blackberries, or the new blackberries. Got some kale in there. Also planted a lot of what are those called? Onions. So all the blackberries are doing fine. All the onions are coming up. I don't know if that's going to be a problem later. But I think they'll do fine over the winter. And then my old stand, I still have a few blackberries that are here. And so they should be fine as well. This is my mulch. I guess my mulch bed. Where I just put leaves and grass and whatnot in here. And the chickens dig it up, and it's super fertile. But all the bananas are dead. The angel trumpets are dead. My elderberry came back just fine. So that's good. This blackberry, the Kiowa blackberry, is doing just fine. I just dug a hole here and I put compost and stuff in it. And I'm just gonna let it sit till probably the end of the winter. And I'll be transplanting this sweet treat pluary into that hole. And I'll probably take some cuttings off of this and just stick them back in the ground right over here and see how they do. And then behind there, I've got where I have my peaches planted, but they won't be coming up until the end of the winter. I mean, till spring, end of the winter, yeah. And then I have my big peach tree here. It's doing fine at the moment. Got all the mimosas and some mulberries, some Pakistan mulberries that I rooted this summer. And over here, around the AC unit, I am making a new mulch pit. So basically, the past few months, I've just killed off all the grass over here. I had cinder block garden over here. This is what's left of it. Peppers and greens. But then I just built up the space around, and then the space around the AC unit. And then I'll fill this all in, all this area, with mulch and leaves and just anything, any green debris that'll keep the grass covered and anything from growing. And I'll plant a tree out here, and then probably again greens. I might do pumpkins. The squash back here did really well. And with the AC unit over here, it drains in this area. The condensation drains in this area. So I don't really have to worry about watering it because it stays fairly moist over here. So next spring, this will be, it'll look a lot better and it'll actually be functioning. Last week I got the chickens set up so they can come outside and not worry about the predatory birds. So I just got this little fence here with some netting, bird netting. I don't know if you can see that, but there's bird netting all over the top. Turned the automatic door back on, and so it comes on and off. The first day or two, they had a real hard time. They had an easy time coming out, but they couldn't figure out how to get back in. So I had to take a few of them and just put them on each step and show them how to get back in. And then once 2 or 3 of them figured it out, the rest of them just followed. So they're doing good. They're just chilling right now. It looks like I'm missing some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? Oh, they're in the coop. 8, 9. Okay, I'm good. So I should probably cover that up so they don't hang out in there. That'll be an issue later when I want eggs, because that's what I want them to use that for. But they're all doing good. Here's my water system. It's right next to the chicken coop. Last year I did not drain it when it froze hard, so I'm gonna make sure I do drain it this year, because when it does, those white pipes will burst. So I got to empty all this water out before the hard freeze. All right, and in the greenhouse, I stuck my lemon trees, the Venus flytraps. I think that's all. I've got my figs, the Black Madeira KK. Still trying to get these things right. I don't know if that'll be possible. If the sun comes out, it stays real nice and warm in here. But if the sun's not out, it stays pretty cool. But my cuttings still looks just fine. I have my 3 moringa cuttings in here. That one up there has got flowers on it. Probably should cut those off. But they should do just fine. And then really, oh, here's the other one. Here's the original moringa where I took all the shoots from. I didn't want to cut it down all the way since it stays kind of warm in here. So we'll just see how that one does. And this year, pretty much that's all I've got in the greenhouse. So a lot of space, but not really heating anything. And that water keeps it nice and humid in here. So right now I have ant issues. I've got ants, yeah, all over in here, all in the fig, and then down in the mulch as well. So I'm trying to get rid of those without using too much poison, if any at all, but we'll see. That's what's going on in here. Then out here, with all these trees, they're all fine. I put a magnolia over here. So it's just a seedling. My persimmon, it was a chocolate persimmon. It died. It died that last week of the heat. So I don't think it's coming back. The rootstock might come back. The rootstock on my other one came back, so I'm just gonna leave it in there and see what happens. The pluary is doing fine. Everything else in here is doing just fine. Everything looks good, besides the cold. I did dig another hole over here, and that's for some almond trees that I got. I got a Texas Mission almond and an all-in-one almond. And one of them is gonna go right here. This is the persimmon that grew from the rootstock. Should be all right. And then out here, I also planted a Pakistani mulberry. So we'll see how that does out here. it should be all right. They're pretty resilient. And here's the pot that I've got the, I think I've got 11 or 13 peach stones in here, but I planted some beets and radishes and some other greens on top just so it just wasn't sitting here. So that's doing all right at the moment as well. So that is pretty much it. Basically all I need to do is get some straw or some leaves so I can start mulching and covering some of this stuff to keep it cool, and some of the plants out there. I've got a date palm that's been out in this weather for years, and so I just want to make sure it stays alive, so I need to get that covered. I'll just pack it with straw or leaves. But that's what's going on. See you later.